हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
That's right.
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत।
धन्यवाद. Just give 5 more minutes. There is some exam going on in the classroom, so we are just waiting for them to finish. So please bear for 5 more minutes. Mataji.
Those are that's okay.
Yes, it's managed.
Okay.
Yeah. Here look over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, there was this is only for government service, not for it's only for so people can pass the exam, business management. They also get rating.
Yeah.
क्लास के लिए आपका मेल करेगा
देखता है मेरे को कुछ चल देख के लो You want this one? Shiki? Yeah. Take. See that? Saw the shaking. Shake. Better. Ah. प्रभु चल 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 पीछे तो ये भी पीछे ठीक है ओम ज्ञान्तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा. So there was some exam which was going on here, so we got delayed. Classroom was occupied. So we are right now in chapter number 4. We are starting today, and chapter 4 is named as Transcendental Knowledge, and before that the chapter 3 was named as Karma Yoga. So what is the flow from third chapter to fourth chapter? Why was the third chapter named as the Karma Yoga? Because the discussion about the Nishkam Karma Yoga, we started right from the second chapter, is going on. It will continue till sixth chapter, wherein it is recommended one follow the Karma Yoga, actually Bhakti Yoga, but via Karma Yoga, wherein Krishna comes into the picture, and that's how it ends. So the previous chapter, the discussion was about the Karma Yoga. The chapter entitled Karma Yoga, but it is mostly about the Nishkam Karma Yoga. And what was the last part of the third chapter that we discussed? It was with Arjuna asking a question. Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichanapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. So this is from verse 36 in the previous chapter. Till the end of third chapter, that is 43rd verse, this topic was discussed as to by what is one is engaged into the sinful activities, even if one does not want to. So in the third chapter, verse 34, it is said that indriyasya indriyasyarthe raga dvesha vyavastito tayor na vasham agachet tau hi asya paripantino. Attachment and repulsion pertaining to the senses are firmly fixed in each of the sense object. Indriya syarthi. So senses has natural inclination towards the sense object. Right from the start. Since how long? Since beginningless. Senses, if we see, no, we already like certain things. Certain things we don't like. Why we like certain things? Because we experience pleasure. When? Maybe in this life or maybe in the past life. Some people are afraid from seeing from the heights. Why? Because maybe in the past life their death would have been caused because of falling down. Isn't it? So they are afraid. That means that the past life impressions are carried forward in this life also. Isn't it? Mostly it is this life. Call with your mobile. You call ना फोन कीजिए किसी का लेके कॉल व्यू माता जी ना टेक मोबाइल कॉल If you have kept in silent mode, we are discussing the main part of the chapter 3. Just a recap. The chapter 3 basically starts with a question by Arjuna, which is better? Jnana Yoga, wherein you leave the things, or working Karma Yoga, right? And Krishna says, which is better? Karma Yoga. Why? Because in Karma Yoga, what is the benefit? In Karma Yoga, what is the benefit? Even if one falls down, suppose, say in the Jnana Yoga, one who is purified by the Karma Yoga, one can take to the Jnana Yoga. That means leave the work and focus on Atma, right? And one can do that. But if one is not engaged in the Atma, focusing on Atma, sometimes, at that time, if he thinks something else, there is a chances he may fall down, right? So if such person also, he continues working selflessly without attached to the result and focuses on Atma, then there's no chance of falling down because engaged, and purification will also happen. And the focus on Atma will also continue. And somebody who has not purified, who's not purified, and he wants to gain the realization of Atma, first step is work selflessly. Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? So beneficial. But if somebody thinks that, no, I am qualified, and he may not be qualified, he will be a cheater. So better is perform. And somebody feels that I has really qualified, then also that person, if he continues working unattached way, that will benefit, and he can continue focusing on Atma. So therefore, Krishna recommends that there are two kinds of people based on the Nishtha, based on their eligibility is defined. And then he says, one cannot remain without work even for a moment. Everybody has to work. Even the sannyasis or jnanis who leave everything working, they also have to pay. Isn't it? So but he is controlling the senses, remains. Karmendriyani samyamya ya asate mansa smaran indriyan vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. Then he says that if somebody who has lived, who has left the work without having a proper focus on the Atma, and if his mind is focusing on sense gratification, then that is a mithyachar. He is just a pretender. So better than that is a person who is working regulatedly without attachment. And then he says, therefore, in the 8th verse, he says, Nityam kuru karmatvam karma jayati akarmanaha. Nityam niyatam kuru karmatam. Therefore, perform your regulated duties because that is better than not working. Sharir yatra apachate na prasidet akarmana. Even for regular activities, you have to act. Now, how to act? And as well as Nishkam Karma Yoga. So, in Nishkam Karma Yoga, Krishna is now bringing into picture himself. That is Supreme Lord. Work for the Supreme Lord. Till now, work without attachment to the results. Right? So now Krishna is bringing in the 9th verse, Yagya Arthat Karmano, Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. So he's telling now work for pleasure of Krishna. So that gives a link between Nishkam Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. Yagya Artha, because Yagya, who is Yagya? Purush, Krishna. So Yagya Arthat Karmano, Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. Otherwise it's a Karma Bandhana. It's a Krishna who removes the Karma Bandhana.
Prabhuji, I'm not understanding why sannyasi need to work. He has left everything. Why he will work?
Yeah.
What is the need of the work?
Yeah. So, if a sannyasi has left everything, he needs to work. So, what kind of work is recommended for the sannyasis now? Suppose if he is a sannyasi, he has taken sannyas. What does the sannyas mean? That also we need to understand. Right now, Krishna is comparing the person, two kinds of people. One who is not purified, right? And he is performing karma yoga, right? Second kind of person is who is also not purified and takes to sannyas. That kind of person, right? That is a Gyan Yogi who is not yet purified. And he tells, therefore, this is a mithyacharasya uchyate. He is telling that somebody who is not purified and is pretending that he is purified and takes sannyas. But in the mind, what is going on? Sense gratification is going on. So better than that is work. It is not talking about somebody who is really kind of realized the Atma, and for that person who has realized the Atma and he takes the sannyas and he is absorbed in his meditation, that kind of person Krishna is not talking about. Isn't it? So that's the thing. So you are right. If somebody who is purified, then there is no need. In this verse where it says that Atmendriya, somebody who is pleasure, Tushta, Atma Tushta, if his happiness, it rises inside the Atma, he need not have to perform the work that is mentioned. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And then Krishna brings, now that somebody has to work for whom? Yagya Artha. So now Krishna is coming into picture. Work for Krishna's sake. Yagya Arthat Karmana Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. In this world, that is in this earthly planets, Karma Bandhana. Tadartham. And for Yagya, for that purpose. Now somebody may say, what is this Yagya concept? Krishna is talking about Yagya. We could have simply told, work for my pleasure. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. But that is real bhakti. But he's not bringing that into picture now. He's telling now about that Yagya. So he's telling that Sa Yagya Prajasastva. Initially, all the living entities were created along with the Yagyas. And in these living entities, there were demigods. There were also the human beings. And he made a system that demigods, living beings should worship demigod, perform Yagya for demigod, and demigods being pleased, they will offer you Ishta Bhoga. Bhoga means whatever human being needs. Human being needs what? Roti, kapda, makan, enjoyment, sense enjoyment, they need that. So Krishna is saying, okay, you want that? Okay, here is the concept. You worship, follow something. Instead of manka karna, you follow something. So Krishna is giving that process. But in that process, Krishna will also come into picture. So he's telling, okay, you worship demigod. And if somebody is a bhakti yogi, directly he can worship Krishna. Or he will do it for the pleasure of Krishna. So Krishna has made that system. That Devan Yajayat, Devan Bhavayata Yena, Te Deva Bhavayantaha. They will provide whatever you needed if you please demigods. And in that Parasparam Bhavayantaha, Shreya Param Avapnya, you will get Shreya, means something better. That means what? Our needs, Roti Kapda Makan will be solved. Also, we will get Bhakti. Now, how we will get Bhakti? Because Bhakti means Krishna. Here demigod is being spoken. So how we will get Krishna? So then he's saying, Ishtan Bhogan hi wo devan dasayante yagya bhavita tair datta aprada yeibhyo ye bhongte sena evasa. If somebody is not offering what they are receiving from the demigod, they are not offering return any worship, then they are thief only. Okay? And then he says that Yagya Sistasina Santo Muchante Sarval Vidya. What? Somebody who feeds on the Yagya sister, the eminence of the Yagya, then he gets freed from the kilbisha, all the sinful reactions. And one who does not, one who cooks for himself, is eating only sin. Then Anna Bhavati Bhutani. Then he says the cycle, Human beings subsist on Anna. Anna comes by grain, by rain. Rain comes by performance, by Yagya. Yagya means what? Prescribed duties. Prescribed duties given where? In the Shastra. Shastra comes from Supreme Lord's breath. And Supreme Lord's breath is not different from Supreme Lord. That means Supreme Lord is present in Yagya, upon which we get the rain, because of which we get the grain, because on which we subside. It depends on the Yagya. So Yagya, and then that comes from prescribed duties, which comes from the Shastra. That Shastra is not different from Krishna. So Krishna is present in the Yagya. He calls Brahma. Brahma, Aksharam. So Brahma, Krishna is talking in terms of Brahma. That means that element is there in the Yagya. So somebody who performs for Yagya, some Bhakti Yogi will say directly Krishna. But somebody who will say Brahma, something Adhyatmic, not material. For that, if somebody performs, will get freed from Sarva Kilbishay or does not get binded. Yeah. And then he says, Evam pravartita chakyam nanu vartayatiya aghayur indriya aramo mogam sapartha jivati. If somebody does not follow, then what? Aghayur is uselessly leading his life. And mogam sapartha jivati. Then, Mataji, you are asking, why sannyasi who is pure, why he has to work? So Krishna is making it clear now in 17th verse. He did not work. Who does not work? Who can leave the work? Yes, verse 17. Yes tu atmaratir eva syat atmatruptascha manava atmani eva cha santusta tasya karyam na vidyate. Yes tu atmaratir, one who is getting rati, pleasure from what? Atma. Atma se pleasure kaisa? Because Atma by nature is blissful, not hungry, not thirsty. See, it is a bliss. And because Atma is blissful, we are hankering as Atma, we are hankering for the bliss. That's why search for happiness is not wrong. Why? Because we are all blissful. But where we are finding happiness? Outside. Why? Because we have forgotten that we are spirit soul. We consider ourselves as some father, husband, or enjoyer kind of thing. And then in relation to that, we want to enjoy. So, because of Agyan, we misidentify ourselves and seek identification in something else, which we are not. Therefore, if we focus on understanding that we are Atma, right? That is self-realization. Bhakti Yogi, he starts directly with Krishna. You understand, I am Atma, I am servant of Krishna. That is the real identity. Because ultimately this process, after leading oneself to understanding of Atma, then Paramatma, then Krishna, then serving Krishna, it's a step-by-step process. But the Bhakti Yogi directly hits Krishna. Right? So this applies to Bhakti Yogi also, but in a systematic way. Here it is now focusing on Atmarati. If somebody considers the Atmarati as in Krishna service, if somebody is already serving Krishna, in that devotional service, somebody is happy. So Atmarati, a devotee who is happy serving Krishna, chanting his name, doing everything for him, absorbed in that service. So that person is also Atmarati eva syat Atma truptascha manava. Now how he'll getting happiness from where? Atma Trupta, he is satisfied in the blissful nature of understanding oneself. So if somebody knows that I am so and so in connection with Krishna, I am Krishna so and so in the spiritual world, he has realized his Swarupa. Then in that person is engaged, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami in Vrindavan, they were like sitting, meditating. Every day, new tree, they will sleep. And they are meditating, sitting somewhere below the tree, meditating, and they are like in their Swarupa, as a Manjari, they are thinking, I am a Manjari. Not thinking, they are actually a Manjari. They know their Swarupa, and they are cooking for Krishna, and they are seeing Radharani and all, and they are touching that, and it is hot, and then, you see, so they are like Atmadho, they are getting in that relation, such kind of people. So, yes to Atmaratis, eva Atma Triptascha Manava, Atmani eva cha Santushta, tasya karyam na vidyate. For him, which kind of karya is not vidyate, is not necessary? Material engagement. This material engagement, it's not needed. Why? Because they know that this material engagement are not real. Like suppose, I'll give a nice example. When we are sleeping, we go to bed, we sleep, and then we dream at times. In the dream, we go to the forest, and the lion comes, devours us. And what happens? Immediately we wake up. And we may even feel the sweating. So our body is affected. Was there a lion? What we were in the forest? That means that was all imaginary. So somebody will say, is this the imaginary? Now what I am doing? Coming to the point. But we were affected, our body was affected. We got afraid, we got sweating when we woke up. And as soon as we woke up, that fear was gone. Why? Because we realized I was not that. That means that personality whom we saw inside the dream. We saw ourselves, and we misidentified at that time. Similarly, in this life, in reality, we are who? Our real identity is what? We are spirit soul. And this spirit soul has got some body. Why? Because of forgetting God. So we got some body. In this body, we became from somebody's womb. So that person became our mother, somebody our father, somebody our wife, somebody our children. Right? Now, our real identity is Atma. But we think that I am so and so. I am father, I am a son, I am this, I am that, I am a brahmachari, I am a grastha, I am a head of this family. This house belongs to me. This mobile is mine. Under our care right now. Because of some karma, somebody got iPhone, somebody got this, somebody got such kind of wife, such husband, right? But that person thinks, oh, this is mine. Then that is like same as one son is thinking in the dream. Isn't it? Why? Because this is temporary. It's real, but it's a temporary. And when that identity, we focus on ourselves, then we know even if this thing happens, which is bound to happen, sukha dukkha, is this part of this world? Matta sparshastu konde, shito is sukha dukkha, agama apayino anitya. It's anitya, it comes, goes. It's a part of life. Sukha and dukkha is a part of life. So when somebody comes to the understanding that, at least theoretically, practically is that when really one does not get affected when something happens. Why? Because at that time person sees, what is I can do now? Nothing I can do. Why this happened? Connects everything. Shastra Gyan. You see, it does not get affected. Affected means at that moment person will feel the pain. If somebody death happens up near and dear, will feel the pain. But understands that this is the part of life. Isn't it? So therefore, somebody who is engaged, for such person, karyam na vidyate. So now, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, what Arjuna would think. Somebody who is realized, who is connected with Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, or somebody who is Atmarati, who understands who is the Atma, he has no work. And then Krishna says, Naiva tasya kritena artha. By his doing, by his working, such person who is working, he does not have any swarth in that. Kritena artha. Artha means he does not want anything from that. Na akritena kaschana. Nor by not doing. Like somebody who goes to the office. Why he goes? He gets money. Somebody who does not who does not go on Saturday, Sunday when there is a holiday. That person does not go to in the office. Why he does not go to the office? It's a holiday for him. But if he works, company will benefit, na? Saturday is off. But if he works, company will benefit. But then he has artha in not working. By not working, he wants to do something else. He wants to go for the holiday. He wants to spend time sleeping, browsing, whatever. That means he has swartha in not working also. Right? So, but for the Atmaratir person, na tasya karana kritena artho. He has nothing to gain for himself by working. Because he is not attached to the result. Na akritena kaschana. Nor even by not doing. Are you getting? Getting? Now for a Bhakti Yogi, how do we connect? Bhakti Yogi is working for whose pleasure? Krishna. Right? Prabhupada, he was working fully for Krishna's pleasure. Now he already preached, already temples, matha are there. He could have retired. In Vrindavan, was there necessity? Such a old age has to go and preach. He has his disciples, they could have preached. He could have sat and relaxed. But there was no purpose in not working also for him. He did not want to achieve something by not working, like Aram se rehna, khana pina. No, because service for Krishna, that's his main focus. Na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschit artha vyapashrata. And in all the bhuteshu, there is no need for that person to depend or take ashraya of that person, anyone in this world. Nor of the demigods, what to speak of the human being. If somebody thinks, oh, if I don't worship whom I have been worshipping, my Kul Devta, Kul Devi, if I worship Krishna now, then what will happen? They may become angry. Will the demigods become angry if we don't worship them? How do you feel? They will become angry. Yeah, because that's the system. Krishna says, Devan Deva Jajoyanti. One should worship demigods. That's the system. So demigods see this person is not worshipping me. But then, if that person is worshipping Krishna, then will the demigods be happy? Still no. Still won't be happy. Why demigods will not be happy? Somebody is worshipping Krishna. They are afraid that this person wants my position. Because many people worship Krishna. I want this, I want this. So this person is seriously worshipping him. Mera leke jayega position. Because system is set. If somebody performs 100 Ashwamedh Yagya, he will get Indra's position. If somebody performs particular 100 times or 1,000 times of Varnashram Dharma perfectly, he will get the position of Brahma. So this is fixed. So maybe that person is following that. So in 1,000 years. So then there becomes, and he sends Menka and whatnot. But a devotee who is like Haridas Thakur, you see, the prostitute was sent, and even if Maya Devi herself came unaffected, such a person then becomes dear to even all the demigods also. He becomes Atma of all the Atma. That such a person who is really after nothing, they are only after Krishna for their Krishna's pleasure. Selfless. And even demigod becomes very dear. Such person becomes dear to the demigods. Therefore, tasmat means therefore. So 10th verse, 19th verse. Tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samachara. Asakta hi acharam karma param apnoti purusha. Asakta hi acharam. So with such a acharan, wherein one satat does one karma, he achieves param. That is supreme. Also, Arjuna is thinking, so I am aware now, Krishna. I know who am I. I'm the Atma. I know who is Krishna, my well-wisher, and So for me, is there any need? As per Atma Tushta, is there any need for work? Not needed, na? So why you should fight? Such may come, na? Such doubt may come. So Krishna is telling that karmana hi samsiddhir astita janakadaya. Karmana eva samsiddhi astita janakadaya loka sangramam evapi sampashyan kartum arasi. That Janak Maharaj and all previously, they were all devotees of the Lord. They were all perfected people, self-realized people. But such people also loka sangraha. Loka sangraha means controlling. So controlling means not like squeezing from them. Controlling. Why? Because Krishna has made a system. Devan, Yagya, Praja, Sistva. The system has created so that people can follow Yagya, go to Krishna. But that system has been made, and if to follow the dharma, and if so this Rajarishis, who were kind of kings, having the knowledge, they were for the sake of the praja, for teaching to the praja and giving this to the praja, they were working themselves. They did not give up the work. Because if they give up the work, then everybody will follow their follow
Prabhuji,
them.
I have a question, if I could
Yes.
ask. So I'm a bit confused. It says, therefore, without being attached to a fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. But anything that we do, even worshipping Krishna, okay, because we are expecting or doing something to achieve Krishna. So the expectation of fruits of the activity is always there. How is that not possible? We are
Therefore,
chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra, right? Because we want to reach to the higher, and get associated with, because that's the fruits of the activities. So
very good question. Even devotees, they chant to achieve Krishna, to achieve love of Krishna. Isn't it? That
right.
means desires are there. How can we say it's a selfless? See? Good question. How can one say that the devotees are selfless if they are also doing something by which they want to gain something? Like in today's class, Rajbihari Prabhu was telling, the devotees, they chant and they want to, what they want to have? Love of God. But then he shared something higher. He said that they want to reciprocate. Devotees, they chant not so that they get love of Godhead, but they want to reciprocate with the love which they are getting from Krishna. That means the devotees are knowing Krishna loves us. Suridam sarva bhutanam. Suridam sarva bhutanam. That verse comes. He is a Surida. Krishna is Surida. He knows. Also, if he knows Krishna is Suridam, then the first line of that verse, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram, that he is the proprietor of everything. He is the enjoyer. And will devotee try to enjoy anything? He will not try to enjoy. If devotee knows, he is the Surya also. But before that, he is the enjoyer. And he is the proprietor of every person and everything. Will he try to enjoy anything? And he will not try to enjoy anything. He will offer, and he will offer first to Krishna, and in that he will get enjoyment. He's not seeking. He's only seeking is Krishna, your enjoyment.
That's the
And
fruits
then
of the activities, right, Prabhuji?
no,
Now,
that's not.
no,
He's not expecting.
fruits. Fruits of activities, not for myself, but for Krishna. But that is the expectation still there. The fruits of
What
activities
expectation is it?
for fruits of
What is that
activities
devotee
to
expecting?
Krishna. Just like an example that we had in previous, Bhagavad Gita, this book, it was given that we provide everything to stomach so that, everything. But the expectation that the fruits of those activities, not to us, but for Krishna, so because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, that expectation is still there.
Okay, so that expectation is like, that's inherent in the soul. Soul is always desiring. Krishna is the enjoyer, Bhoktaram, he is the enjoyer.
Right.
He expects bhoga, he expects happiness, means pleasure.
Absolutely.
We are part and parcel of Krishna.
Yes.
We expect pleasure.
Yes.
Though limited, but we are seeking pleasure, right? So desire is always there. Desire means we are living being. That shows we have a desire. So desiring is not wrong. We cannot say that desiring it's an expectation. That's a fruitive activity. We are expecting. What we are desiring? Are we desiring Krishna or are we desiring sense gratification? There is only two things in the Shastra, Krishnarti and Dhanarti. Krishnarti, Dhanarti. Krishnarti means anything for pleasure of Krishna. Right? Anything for your pleasure. Let's say if some servant comes, two kinds of servant will come. One servant will come and say, boss, I want to work, but I need this. This is my condition. I need this much payment. I need this much chutti, gitti, all. One condition. Another selfless person. Now, when you say selfless, that person is coming and only he is telling, my only desire is to serve you. Now, you may say, see, that is also your desire. No? Other than he cannot exist without desire. He's coming to me.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. I
Yeah.
got it.
And that is not a wrong desire. No? Otherwise, there will be no connection only. It is like denying our existence only. Like means that person who is a servant is not coming. Means it's like there is no relationship between the servant and the that person and there is no servant only existing. We are existing. Living being existing means there is a desire. Desire is either good desire, bad desire. Good desire means constitutional, like fish staying inside the water can be happy. That's the system, constitutional position of the jiva. Good question. So it's a constitutional position of a jiva to desire, but what that person desires, if one person desires Krishna, connection with Krishna, then that's the correct, that's a constitutional desire, that's a constitutional reciprocation. Apart from that, anything is dhanarthi. Isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. So here Krishna is telling, now he has made a system and he is telling, so this Raja Rishis also, if they are detached, if they are devotees, pure devotees, still they work. Loka Sangram Apimam, Evapi, Sampashyan Kartum Arasi. And in the same way, you are also supposed to work. For what purpose? Setting example. Now, why setting example? Yad yad acharati shashtas tatta devaitarjana. Because as celebrities, leaders do, it's a trend. People, normal people follow. Right? Therefore, then Krishna is giving his own example. Name partha asti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. Krishna is telling now, great leaders, so who can be greater than Krishna? So Krishna is telling, see me also. There is nothing partha asti kartavyam. There is nothing for me to achieve in this world. Right? Still, I am working. Still, I am working. What will happen if Krishna does not work or does not lead by example? Like, see, he married. He was staying with the wife. He was doing whatever wife would say. Like, Satyabhama would say, Arey, mere ko ye la do. He would do. He would get up in the morning. He would meditate, though on himself, but he would get up in the morning. He would go out and work. Right? So he's doing all these things. So now Krishna is telling 33rd word, Yadi na ham varteyam jatu karmani atindriya. If I do not take part in this activity, what is mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvada? They will follow me. So now somebody may say, okay, so Krishna did to set an example, so we should follow that. So Krishna had married, Krishna was doing Raslila, we will also do that. But there is always exception. Krishna did certain thing to prove that he is Supreme Lord. Right? Like Shivji, great personality, he did something to prove so that we should not imitate. So Krishna lifted Govardhan. Can we do that? So we should know that sometimes, at times, Krishna would do something that we are not supposed to imitate. But the rest of the thing we should follow. Like Shivji, he drank poison. Right? One time. So are we supposed to follow that? No. But then Shivji is meditating, he is like detached, he is the owner of everything, but still he is living in the Smashan Bhumi, he is not having anything, he is not like telling anything that is home. So that we can follow, no? Why we have to follow that one particular activity of drinking poison or so? When such verses come, there's a caution also. Right? And then he says, Utsediyur ime loka puryan karma chedam sankarasya cha karta swam upahanyam ima praja. So all this praja will be destroyed or deteriorated if they follow me. if I don't set the example and they follow my example, if I do something which is not proper. And then Krishna is telling, Sakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tathai shaktas chikirsha loka sangrama. So just like an attached person is working, similarly a vidvan, a wise person, should work just like he's attached. But internally is detached. And why is doing so? Loka sangrama. To set an example. Now, na buddhi bedam janayat. He's telling, na buddhi bedam janayat agyanam karma sangina. So now people, they are attached. And we are teaching them, or the one who is realized, is teaching them how to act without attachment and all. So then suppose if some preacher goes and tells anybody, what are you doing? You are working. What you will get? All this is temporary. Your wife is temporary. Body is temporary. So what is the need of doing all this? Focus on Krishna only, or focus on Atmarati, focus on Atma. And that person who is now hearing something, he'll get bewildered because he has no attachment, nor he has faith on the Shastra. But somehow we are telling him a kind of perfect detachment ka things. See, that dose, higher dose if somebody gives. So then Krishna is cautioning that based on the time, place and circumstances, we should tell them. Right? Like somebody who is new coming, and then that person comes, and so we invite, we give something, and you like here, yeah. Why you like here? We ask, no, what makes you coming here? Why gets peace here? We don't tell, peace ke liye aana chahiye, selfless. One should not decide anything. You see, Yashoda Maya, was she in peace? She was running and see so much. So peace should not expect for the peace. No, na buddhi vedam jana. But engage in such a way, na buddhi vedam janayat, agyanam karma sanginam, joshet sarva karmani vidvam yukta samachara. Joshet, usko encouragement karna chahiye, slowly, in that process. Right? So, if that person is coming and he likes something, peace, okay, good, come regularly. See, we are going regularly, we are coming regularly, yes, come regularly. And slowly, then. Sanna buddhi vedam janayat. Wise men should not disturb the intelligence of the ignorant man attached to the result. Instead, engaging in all the work with detachment, the wise should engage them in activity. Now, who are these people who are attached? And we say the people are attached in the world. Why they are attached? They say that prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ankar vimudatma kartam iti manyate. These people, actually, these things are done by our hand, our mind, desires, intelligence, which are certain. I should do that. Because if I do, I'll get this pleasure. Like if I eat rabdi, I'll get pleasure. Mind ascertains. Mind desires. Intelligence says, yes, there is a pleasure in the rabdi. And then mouth eats it. So who is doing all this activity? Soul is doing? Or the hand, mind, intelligence is doing? And that is guna. So, prakrite kriyamana is given by prakriti. So, prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. These all activities are done by the guna. Ahankar vimudatma. Ahankar means aham, I am that. Means what? In this there is a pleasure. Somebody who is identifying instead of atma with something else, that this is me, this is, and trying to enjoy that. So ahankar vimudatma kartam iti manya. He thinks that I am getting pleasure. I am winning the war. I am doing this. Kartam, that person. That's the thing. Tattvavittu mahabhaho guna karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. Tattvavit, one who knows the tattva, what he is saying? Guna guneshu vartante. Objects are working. With the senses are working with the sense of. Nothing, I am not connected. I am just an observer. I am just a observer. So guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Such a person that only the senses are engaged with the sense object. That person understands. Wise understands that they said he is different from the senses and their actions. Oh mighty armed, is not attached to the sense object, understanding that only the senses are engaged in the sense with the sense object. So therefore we say no, oh my body is feeling heat now. See? Oh, that person has left the body. See how the devotees talk. Person has left the body. So when we talk in such sense, or I'm getting bored. What does that mean? Person is considering himself with the body or oneself and saying, I am getting bored. And if somebody really understands that I am Atma and thinks in that, will that person tell, I am getting bored? How can Atma get bored? You see? Though that person may be feeling bored now, because if he thinks, understands that I have nothing to do now, I am feeling boring. I am feeling boring. You see, I am feeling. The mind is feeling boring. My mind is feeling boring. See how we talk, we come to know whether that person is. Otherwise, one who is a saint will never say like this. अरे बोर हो गया मैं. अरे मजा नहीं आ रहा है. अरे खा तुम मजा कर, enjoy कर. You know the people who like, they will never say like this. You consider oneself to be the one body that enjoy. Even like our words are such, which when spoken with a really understanding who we are as a Atma. Now we are devotees, so we not think ourselves as Atma, but we identify ourselves as a servant of Krishna. Right? So in that, if we say that, Le Mahaprasad hai, maja kar. No, we say that please honor. See, please honor. So does that mean ki maja nahi karna hai? No, honor, relish. But for what? Relish means, see, Lord has given us this tongue. We are by nature trying to enjoy. Because we are spirit soul. That's the nature of blissful. But make that real thing. Make it as a real thing. Like for fish in the water. So similarly, enjoyment will come from Krishna only. If somebody understands that in reciprocation with Krishna. So by doing what Krishna says, serving Krishna. So serving Krishna means Krishna says offer to Krishna and then you can partake. So we are offering to the Krishna and then when we are partaking, remembering that, oh see, Krishna has given. Krishna bada dayama. Paribhare jiva. And this is of all the senses, tongue is most voracious. Kari bhare jiva jai, sa prasadana dilo bhai, sayanna mrita pav, Radha Krishna gun gaun. See, and with that, we are honoring. We are relishing. It's not like some kind of a jnani who is like, want to be detached from this world. So they think that eating also is enjoyment. So they mix everything. And they do tapasya. See? Even if the food, so many objects are given, they will mix everything, khatta, meeta, all, and they do all tapasya. Why? Because senses should not be fed. No, that's not how devotees behave. They will relish the remnants. Yagya sista sinasan. Yagya sista. They take the so prakriti gunamanani sajjate guna karmasu tan akrishna vido mandan krishna vid na vichalayet. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmama bhutva yuddhasva vigata jvara. So now is Krishna telling him, Mai sarvani karmani, unto me. You see? Mai sarvani karmani, offering all activities to me. See from Nishkam Karma Yoga, how it's bringing Bhakti Yoga. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. So adhyatma chetasa. So the focus chetana is on adhyatma. That means realizing Krishna or understanding Atma. It's a devotee then focusing on Krishna, offering to Krishna. So nasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir, without desiring for oneself, without desire for the fruits, results of one activity, right? Nirashir, nirmamo, that this belongs to me. So who is the possessor of everything? Mahesh, Sarva Loka Maheshwara. Who is Krishna? So no position. So devotees work, they write the assets in their name. Why they do like that? I mean, they think that this belongs to me. They do in this world for keeping the body, but they understand who is the real proprietor. And when that is taken away, they are not kind of disturbed. When it is taken away, they understand that it's Krishna's role. They'll do all the needful. Why? Because it helps in worshipping Krishna. Right? But when it goes away, like Prabhupada, he was working this temple Jew temple, how it can go away? You see, he fought. But when nothing would have happened, gave up also. In that case, he did not. Like before going to US, when he was in Allahabad, he tried for to possess that land. And somehow that governor's wife took away. He accepted. He did not went and did so many, just accepted. Oh Krishna, he did whatever was possible. And then if not, okay, Krishna's willing. He did initially working to gain some money so that he can serve the purpose of Krishna consciousness. But his factories was gone and he accepted, na? He did not say, oh Krishna, how can you do? I am doing it for you. Don't want to do anything. He did not do that. Right? Because so that does not mean that devotee let go anything by its own, not taking the responsibility of. No, they do it, understanding that. So their ultimate purpose is Krishna. And they are not attached to that also. So Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Adhyatmacha Nirasir Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigata Jvara. Without Vigata Jvara, without this Jvara. So Jvara is like, repentation or like negative thing. Fear, with fear. Or if I do this, if I start this business, what will happen? If I start this new temple, who will take care? Will I get? If I start this new program, what will happen? Something negative. Or earlier I failed, so now also it will happen. No, don't think about negative. Vigata Jvara, with full confidence. Why? Because it's for pleasure of Krishna. What max can happen? It will not work. It's okay. ये मे मतम इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवा श्रद्धावंतो अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकल्पिते ये ते मतम इदम this my opinion matam idam nityam anutistanti manava shraddhavanto anusuyanto. So nityam, one who follows with faith, shraddhavanto anusuyanto, without envy. Why without envy? Oh, I have to do this now. Krishna is selling. Bhoktaram, he is the enjoyer. What to do? I want to enjoy, but kya karu? Like Buddha खुद ही enjoy करेगा. Where means that prejudice. You see? उसको ही करने देना पड़ता है. क्या करूँ? No. Without any prejudice to Krishna. Anasuya, that is without having envy towards Krishna. Means what is the problem if I have one wife and one affair? What's the problem? And अभी कृष्ण बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं करना चाहिए. I have to do it now. Having that prejudice, having that envy towards Krishna. With that also will not work. So Shraddhavanto Anusuyanto Muchante Sarvakil Vishay will get freed from all the bondage. Ye tu etad abhasuyanto nano tistanti me mata sarva jnana vibhudastan vidhi nastan achetasa. But know that one who does not follow this teaching, being ignorant of this teaching about action and thus being devoid of proper discrimination, they are lost. Nastan, vidhi nastan, achetasa. Now, sadrusham chestate swasya prakrute jnanavan api prakriti yanti bhutani nigraham kim karishyati. Even a now, question may arise that the scripture says that there is a punishment for those who do not follow the instructions of Lord. So the Lord of and do they not have fear of you? The scripture says that that if you do this, you'll get this punishment, right? But still, even a person who knows this punishment stated in the scriptures act according to his evil nature. So Arjuna is telling, Krishna is telling, Sadrisham chestate swasya prakrute jnanavan api. So jnanavan means one who knows. Scripture says this, scripture says do not do this, scripture says do this, right? But still, one follows one's own nature. Nigraha kim karishyati. Then what will restraining? Scripture says, no, do not do this. So what is the use of the scripture? We say don't do. Why? Because the people, even after knowing, does that. Like see many devotees, they know, don't eat this, don't eat this. But still at times, because their nature. You see, the nigraha kim karishyati. So now why this happens? So Krishna is telling. Why such thing happens? Like people, devotees know. One should not do. Now I'm not talking about all the devotees, but those who are like conditioned, like very attached, So what is stopping them? So here Krishna is telling 34th verse. Indriyani indriyasya arte raga dvesha vyavastito. Tayor na vasham agachet tavhi asya paripantino. Indriyani indriyasya arte. Senses towards the sense object. Raga dvesha vyavastito. There is a vyavastha बनाई है. क्या व्यवस्था है? Rag and dvesh. Rag means attachment. Indriya has attachment to us, Indriya object, and dvesha means has certain dvesh. Like mango juice, how many have attached? Means rag means likes it. See, that's a liking, right? Rag means attached. जैसे नहीं मिला तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, है ना? So that is rag. So liking is not wrong, but attachment. So and that brings attachment, right? So that rag and dvesh is fixed. And here Krishna is saying, Tayor no vasham agachet, tavi asya paripantino. They are the robbers on the street. Tayor no vasham agachet. Do not come under their control. Right? Suppose, like now, Sunday, not today, Brahmachari get Mahaprasad. We are fixed every day. Mahaprasad comes, no? Someday, PTA people will take, someday, Parth will take, someday, the servants will take. No, like this, it is fixed. One day we, like, Monday, Sunday, Brahmachari get. So that's a kind of niyam bana liya. So some Brahmachari, oh, Sunday, Monday, kuch bhi ho jaye, I will not miss. Maja aata hai, like such kind of, like bhukmari, kind of, like hankering for that. And that too for the taste, variety, and kind of thing. So that's a trying to enjoy. And somebody who, because it's a Mahaprasad, every day eat down, right? It's a prasad only. But yes, Krishna's plate directly prasad is coming. So let me go and honor something. That mindset is different. But so rag tayor na vasham agachet. Uske vash mein nahi aana. So the system is made, uske vash mein nahi aa jane ka. There is a regulation, no. Like saying in Agrastha Ashram, there is a license. One can have intimacy with the opposite gender. Right? So this is the regulation given. This is allowed in Grihastha Ashram. But somebody then thinks that it's allowed. Let me enjoy every day, every time, as much as I want. But it's allowed, no? That means what? That person has come under regulation. Tayor na vasham agacche. So vash mein aa gaya. Regulation diya hai, but that does not mean it. One has to come under that. So tayor na vasham agacche. Why? Because that's a paripantino. That's a robber in the. One should not come under the control of the attachment and repulsion. They are the two obstacles. Like you see, scripture mentions that one should go to the sadhu, one should go to the holy places, hear from the sadhus. It's mentioned, right? So somebody may like it, somebody may not like. You see, some people who seeing sadhu, they say, "Arey, aa gaya, pakayega abhi, bhakti, Krishna, Krishna karega." So you see, there is a natural dvesh towards these people. You see, some people, they have natural dvesh. Means sadhu ko dekh ke bhagte wo log. Why? Because they have a bad experience. कि ये पिछली बार मैं ड्रिंक कर रहा था और ये आके सामने बैठ रहा था. Means he was there and I could not drink. Like that person becomes an obstacle. His presence is making me feel guilty. So see, sadhu, which he is supposed to take shelter, scripture says one should take shelter of this, and learn from the sadhu. But this person has a dvesh. See? And talking to other person's wife. See, is attachment, rag. Scripture says no. But then there's some kind of a pleasure. So that person, even after understanding that, I should be away, if some service is there, it's okay. But otherwise, just, like kappa, gusti, hubi, but that is like the kind of system built in the people who are attached. Rag, there is a rag. So then somebody who creates obstacle, there is a dvesh with that person. And there's a rag with somebody who talks in that way. So there's a rag. So do not get unto that. They become the thief. For what? Tauhi asya paripantino. They are the two obstacles. Obstacles for what? We are focusing on understanding oneself, right? Or in serving Krishna. So this becomes obstacles. That's what Krishna is telling. Shreyan swadharma vigunan paradharma swanustita. Swadharmane sadharme निधन श्रेय पर धर्म भयावह. Shreyan swadharma viguna para dharma anustita. Like sometimes in some we are in particular varna, particular ashrama, we see another ashrama something is allowed. Like brahmacharis are getting so much, to eat prasad, varieties. So somebody may say, अरे ये तो अच्छा है, वो आश्रम अच्छा है. No, but one has to follow one's particular ashram ka thing. So here is saying Shreyan Swadharma Viguna Paradharma Swanustita. Swadharme Nidhana Shreya Paradharma Bhayavaha. If one performs another another ashram's activity, though perfectly, but still that is not good. Like, selected things. Like brahmachari says, "Arey, Grihastha can go anytime to the yatra." I wish if I can also. Here I have to take permission, and sometimes I'm so no. But you may think that no, staying in the brahmacharya ashram, it's a rule here. Whatever is needed has to be done. Somebody has to take care of the deities. Somebody has to stay. So during the yatra, somebody has to stay only. Grihastha ashram, there is a facility. One can decide on oneself. Looking at one's whatever, but they can decide. Here it's not like that. So, Swadharma Nidana Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. Now, Vishwamitra Muni or Parshuram. Parshuram was born in the which family? Brahmana family. But then he acted as a Kshatriya. Vishwamitra was born in the Kshatriya family, but then he acted as a Brahmana. So that's a special category because of their qualities. They perform activities according to their particular great qualities. Even then, they were criticized and fell into the problems. You see, they were criticized and they fell into the problem. Also, Drona and other Brahmanas practicing Kshatriya Dharma were also they were criticized many times. So, somebody who is in particular ashrama or varna and they perform somebody's other activity, like somebody who is like a grasta, suppose, and he's like kind of a particularly detached and fully in the temple serving, but that will not be appreciated. तो पूरा दिन मंदिर में रहता है, सेवा करता है, तो घर पे वाइफ बच्चों को समय देता है कि नहीं? Right? Which he is supposed to. So he is performing brahmachari ka duty perfectly, you see, better than brahmachari would do. But then they are supposed to spend time, So, Swadharma, Shreyan Swadharma Viguna Paradharma Swanustita. Better to perform one's dharma activity properly. But then, why this happens? Why there is like a desire to do, like people know that this is not good. Isn't it? This is not good. I should not be doing that. I should not be talking to another person's wife. I should not be doing this. Still, why person does? Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Anichan api. See, anichan means that person knows that this is not good. Means इच्छा नहीं है करनी. इच्छा तो बोल रही है, तभी तो कर रहा है, because राग द्वेष है. But that person knows, understanding is there that should not do. Anichanapi. That intelligence is no. But still then why? As if like force is taking, one does it. Even after understanding. So then Krishna says, what is the reason? Then what Krishna replies? Kama esha krodesha. It is kama only. It is lust. Kama esha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava.
So, Prabhuji.
So you see, the system like Raga, Dvesha, Avastito. Senses has a direct attachment to the sense object. Right? Now the senses are material. Sense objects are material. Right? So then what power this material things has? They are not responsible to instigate a jiva to get into action, performing the sin, isn't it? So there has to be some instigator who is doing that. So who is that? So Krishna is now telling Kama Esha. It is desire. So in the previous commentary, like Vasana was rejected as the cause because it is a product of matter with no powers on its own. So the Vasana means there's a type of a set thing. Like somebody who likes mango. It's a set, na? Once they see mango, they will have that desire. So there is a Vasana house. Impressions are there. That Vasana impression can be of this life, or impression can be from previous life. Some people have liking towards particular kind of people or particular kind of object. Liking is there. So that is Vasana, that is impression. But then, it's a product of matter, no? Vasana is a product of matter. Impressions, they are a product of matter with no powers of their own. However, here it is stated that the Vasana transform into Kama. These Vasanas are transformed into Kama, are the causes of action. Kama Esha. Now it is being spoken, Kama Esha. Now somebody may say the Krodha is also coming into picture. Krodha, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Why Krodha? Because Raga Dvesha. Raga means attachment and Dvesha means hatred towards something. So here therefore, when in connection with the passion, this thing comes, Raga and Dvesha, in connection with the passion, that transforms into desire. Kama, Ichha. This means that the Vasana do not act alone. Vasana do not act alone, but only in conjunction with the will of the Jiva. Because if I like mango juice or mango, then every time I see mango, I need to go and take it. But no, there is always a free will. Jiva is involved, the desire of a Jiva is involved, the free will is there. So, if that person knows that no, this tasty food, sabji, nice sabji, kaun sa sabji we like somebody, kolhapuri, veg kolhapuri, right? It's made today, veg kolhapuri is made for the Lord. Good evening, veg kolhapuri is made for the Lord, and that Mahaprasad has come. And because I like it, rag is there. Do I need to go? Today is Ekadashi. So the will of the Jiva, that will of the Jiva, how strong it will be, understanding that in Ekadashi, if that has a knowledge, then Ekadashi I should not eat. If I eat, then what will happen? Krishna will not like. You see? I'll get involved in the sinful reactions and all these things. So therefore, it's not only raga, dvesha. Means if that is there, then people will not have a control only. Whatever is the system fixed, whatever vasana is there, people will keep on doing that only. It's a will of the jiva. So therefore, kama. Kama esha krodesha, rajuguna samudbhava. Maa shano. Now somebody may say that de do na sabji thoda sa. Ichha puri ho jayegi. But no, maa shana, how much ever you give, will not be satisfied. Mahapapma, vidhi enamiha vairinam. That is the greatest enemy of the living being. His desire is the greatest enemy. That pulls person down. Even person who is understanding, one should not do. Huh? Uh-huh. They know, yeah, see, they know, anichan, they should not eat, but still they go for it. And they say, kya karu, hota nahi hai, means, hota nahi hai, kya karu? Kya karu means, yeah, you are responsible. Kama esha, desire. Chanting of Mahamantra purifies us of this ichha, kama. Right? So now, do we have desire to chant Hare Krishna? Does somebody like, oh wow, I have to chant, I feel so happy. No, it's a big burden, you see. Initially, it's a big burden. But when we understand that this is what it is, this will, and when somebody gets this, they look forward. They look, that best time is in the morning time. Sitting with the devotees and chanting. What can be the better time? One gets taste. Therefore, the remedy is taste. Param Društva nivartate. This is the understanding, one should not go for it, right? Calm is the problem. But then how will it will go away when somebody gets a test? And that test will come what? And initially people have test for chanting, no. But still one does it. Why? Because understanding that it should be done. Certain things should be done, even though I don't like it. Because senses have direct, sense have liking, rag or desh. इंद्रिया नहीं इससे अर्थ है राग द्वेष तो चैंटिंग के लिए देयर इज अ द्वेष व्हाई बिकॉज़ एक्सपीरियंस इज देयर चैंटिंग करो तो स्टफ नींद आती है और माइंड यू नो इट्स दैट्स द एक्सपीरियंस राइट सो देयर इज अ द्वेष हेट्रेड होता है बट देन by hearing we understand the benefits right so with that person slowly even without liking does that purification happens. Therefore, this Nishkam Karma is what? In Nishkam Karma Yoga, still have to do Arjuna. Fight. Set an example. You see, he does not want to. Right? He does not want to. But still has to do it. By doing that, what will happen? One will be freed from the bondage, will be purified of Rag and Dvesha, then will get knowledge. And with the sword of knowledge, one can then perform the activity. One will get test for the higher thing. And with that, the test manifests completely in that higher thing. Then one can easily give up this. You see? You ask any youngster, come and sit and chant. Sir, don't go here, there, and not. Very difficult. एक दिन में पूरा नहीं होगा. Slowly, Therefore, न बुद्धि वेदम जनय. पकड़ के एक दिन में ही ये कर देने का नहीं. Give them, because since long they have that attachment towards doing this, eating outside and all. I know for a devotee, seasoned devotee, if you tell them to go out and eat, they'll say, kya? Non-offered, bad quality, why will eat? No way. But those who are attached still, to the taste and all, they will go out, eat and say, Vishnu, 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 and they'll eat. You see? Now, so this covering, so this knowledge, it covers the knowledge. So, so when somebody goes, the karma is an enemy, right? Karma is the enemy. So the karma is the enemy of whom? Of a person who is trying to realize Atma or connection with the Supreme, right? Who is doing bhakti. Karma is an enemy. So the karma is enemy. What karma does? It obstructs one's knowledge, right? It obstructs one's knowledge. It covers one's knowledge that he is a spirit soul. So now this covering of the knowledge, it's in a various degrees. This covering is in a various degrees. So the karma, like when the smoke is covered with when the smoke is covered, the fire is covered with the smoke, then that covering of the karma to the knowledge is little. The covering of the knowledge is very little. Why? Because with little bit of blowing the air, immediately fire can come. So the initial stage, when somebody is covered, the knowledge is there, but it's like covered little bit. Just like the fire is covered by the smoke. Second, which is like little thick, that is like the mirror is covered by the dust. By just blowing, it will not go. You have to thoda sa ragadana padta hai. So the knowledge is little bit more covered. In that, one has to perform more devotional service. And then in the third stage, where the knowledge is totally covered, it's just like the womb is covered, the child is covered by the womb. You don't even know it's a boy or a girl. And that inside that person who is there cannot move the hands and legs. You see, the covering is so thick. So the person who is thickly covered with the rag and dvesh, with this karma, desire, in that person knowledge will not sink. क्या बोल रहे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है प्रभु जी. You see, why? Because desires are so strongly That one, this knowledge, spiritual knowledge does not sink only.
Prabhuji, here in verse 37, here kama means lust. It is given. So
Which
desire
place?
in verse number 37.
Okay.
So here kama it means lust. So desire
Uh-huh.
and lust are the same thing.
Yeah, lust means what? The desire. It's a desire. Kama. That's a desire to enjoy. That's the uh, lust. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is the three coverings, which covers the knowledge of the person who is trying to understand Atma or Krishna. Avrutam jnanena etena. See, here it is telling avrutam. These three examples are given. And now it is being said about these three examples. Avrutam jnanam etena. Jnanino nityavairina. So this thing is avrutam. It is covering the knowledge. These examples are given. It's covering the knowledge. Of whom? Jnanino. Of one who is trying to practice. Jnanina means one who is trying to practice, realize the self. Jnanina nityavairina. It's an enemy for one who is trying to practice. It's not an enemy for somebody who wants to remain in Maya. Because for that person who wants to enjoy, wants to drink, for him forgetfulness, covering of the Maya, it gives enjoyment to that person. क्योंकि वो भूल गया है, he's enjoying. He drinks लेना चाहिए. And that person does not know the harmful effects. But the devotees, a jnani knows Shastra, that this is wrong. Devotees know that it should not be done. So while doing that activity also, person is not enjoying. See, jnani nitya vairina. So this kama is a nitya vairi. Even while enjoying for a devotees or for that jnanina, that person is not happy because he is doing avashaha. And then what to speak of when somebody so this kama is a for a jnani who is trying to practice is always a enemy, nitya. Even when he does, right, without desire, without willing, and even when he does not do, still remains a enemy only. Kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena anelana cha. Why? Because dushpurena, it cannot be satisfied with anything. Dushpurena anelana cha means like in a fire you pour how much ghee, it will not be satisfied. So similarly, this kama, it is nitya vairi, is an eternal enemy of the person. And where does this kama reside in the body? So indriyani mano buddhi adhyastithanam uchyate. So asya adhisthanam. So adhisthanam is the place where you will find this calm. It's in the mind, indriyani in the senses, mana and buddhi. See, it comes in the mind, desires comes in the mind. Intelligence ascertains. Yes, go for it. There is a enjoyment. See, there you got enjoyment. So, इंद्रियाणि मनोबुद्धि अधिष्ठानम तस्य उच्यते एतेर मोहयते ईसीव में ज्ञान ज्ञानम आवृत्य देहिनाम एतेर by this one gets bewildered, the soul gets bewildered. So what is the solution then? Krishna is telling tasmat tvam indriyani ado, therefore initially indriyani ado niyamya, see niyamya bharatarshava. What is that niyam? Nishkam karma yoga, work, regulated, without desire. Even if I don't like chanting, do it, chant. Even if I like talking to other women and all, do not. Niyamya tasmat tam indriyani ado niyamya bharatarshava papmamam prajatihi yenam jnana vijnana nashana. It's a obstacle for knowledge and also so theoretical knowledge also and realized knowledge. Indriyani parani ahur indriyabhya param manah manastu para buddhi ye buddhi parastu saha. So now this verse is talking about how if somebody gets the param drishtva nivartate, one gets the pleasure of the soul, then this can be covered. So it is said that indriyani parani ahur. Higher than the sense objects are the senses, because senses are more subtle. Sense object are gross. Senses are more subtle. Higher than the senses is Manaha, Param Maha. Param is Manaha. Mana is greater than the sense. Manastu Parabuddhi. Intelligence is greater. Right? Of course, somebody who is very attached, intelligence is taken away by the mind. Right? But here, generally, intelligence is greater than the mind because intelligence ascertains, yes, there is happiness, go for it. Right? Yo buddhe parastu saha, and the soul is greater than the buddhi. So if somebody enjoys the soul or gets pleasure from the soul, param drishtva, then that person can control the senses or this kama. So it's bringing to that level of getting the higher enjoyment from the soul, from the understanding of the soul. एवं बुद्धे परम भूत्वा संस्थाप्य आत्मानम आत्मना जहि शत्रु महाबाहो काम रूपेण दुरास्तदम. Thus realizing the soul is distinct from the intelligence, fixing the mind in the soul by fixed intelligence, destroy this enemy in the form of lust, which is difficult to conquer. That's the last word, shloka. Now, Krishna has given this knowledge. What? Without any desire, work. Right? Nishkam karma, or serve Lord without any expectation. Even if some things we may not like it, but still do it. As per of the Varna and Ashram, do it. Having given this knowledge. So now, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. So now Arjuna is thinking whether I should fight or not. Whether I should fight or not. Because so when Krishna is talking about this Nishkam Karma Yoga, this knowledge about Nishkam Karma Yoga, how it will benefit one, it will purify one. So now Krishna is glorifying this knowledge in the 4th chapter. In chapter 4, Krishna is glorifying this knowledge. Because Arjuna is not talking anything. He's fighting or not. So some time went by. So Krishna is like so kindful. He is now telling to him about this knowledge which I have given. Now, how great is this knowledge? So he's glorifying this knowledge. He's telling him about the where from this knowledge came. What is the parampara of this knowledge? How great is that? What is the power of this knowledge? Like somebody who writes a book, devotees, they write a book. So then it's a great book. See, the great personality has endorsed this book. They write, they go for some endorsement by the great people. So that if great person has endorsement, this is the epic. So now Krishna is telling, see, Baba, this thing has been endorsed by Sun God. See, you all are fighting in the Yuddha, you are waiting for the sun to come. The morning when the sun comes, they all get into action, So they are all following Sun God, So Sun God is a great person. Of course, Krishna is great. Arjuna knows he is great. Arjuna does not need Krishna's, Sun God's endorsement. But still Krishna, because Arjuna is like now acting like a normal human being who is covered by the Maya. So Krishna is then giving him that with that knowledge, that he's like a kind of normal person. Normal person will appreciate what great person says. So Krishna is saying, see, Baba, Sun God who I gave this knowledge. Think of importance of this knowledge. So Krishna is giving that itself is a great thing. If somebody knows Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and if Krishna is saying, that itself is a great thing. There is no need of understanding that this has been coming from Sun God, right? But because normal person, they appreciate when something is coming from the great person, Krishna is telling, Imam vivasvate yoga. Shri Bhagavan uvacha. Please repeat. Shri Bhagavan uvacha.
Bhagavan uvacha
Imam vivasvate yogam.
Nivambase yogam
Proktavanaham avyayam.
Ruktamana abhayavam
Vivasvan manave praha.
Vivasvan mama me praha
Manurishya kave abravit.
Anuvicha bhave abravit.
Imam vivasvate yogam. So this yoga means there is a talk, the yoga, the connection, this knowledge. Imam vivasvate yogam. Vivasvate means unto Sun God Vivasvan. Vivasvate, Sun God Vivasvan. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavahan aham avyayam. I gave this indestructible knowledge, eternal knowledge. This indestructible knowledge. I gave him to whom? Vivasvan. Vivasvate yogam proktavan am avyayam. Vivaswan manave praha. What does Vivaswan do? Vivaswan manu manave. Manave means unto Manu. Praha means he spoke. What did Manu do? Manu Ishwakave Abravit. Ishwakave means King Ishwaku. Abravit means he spoke. So that means who gave first to whom? Krishna gave to sun god Vivaswan. His name is Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave to whom? Manu. Which Manu? Now question comes here. Which Manu? Father of mankind. Okay. Direct translation, na? Huh? Son of Manu is the son of Brahma. So first is now, how many Manus are there in the one? Huh? And what is 71? You said 71, na? So what is 71?
14
You have to tell because 71 also comes in connection with Manu. So what is that 71?
71 is a period of one Manu for
Period
71
of
yogas.
one. Yes. So Manu rules. One Manu rules for how many yoga cycle?
71.
One yoga cycle means how many Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapar Yug, Kalyug? One yuga cycle means one Kalyug, one Satyug, one Dwapar Yug, one Kalyug. One set is called yuga cycle. Like that 71 yuga cycle. Not exactly 70, 71.43 something. That much is the period of one Manu. And like that, how
Hari.
many in one day of Brahma, how many such Manu comes?
14.
14 Manu. So 14 Manu. Each Manu is ruling for how many years? How many yuga cycle? 71 point something. So 14 multiplied by 71.41 comes 1000 yuga cycles. 71 yuga cycle, right? So 1000 yuga cycle. That is one day of Brahma. So one day of Brahma has how many yuga cycles? 1000. One day of Brahma has how many Manus? 14. So each Manu has how much yuga cycle? 1000 divided by 14. Do 1000 divided by 14. How much comes? 71 point. That is the exact. Now, which Manu is current Manu? Which after 14, which is the current uh, Manu? There are 14 Manus. So current which Manu is ruling? 5, 6, 7, first,
Seventh one.
seventh one. So seventh Manu means how many has passed?
50.
6. So 6 multiplied by 71. That yuga cycle has passed. Now current Manu का कौन सा युगा cycle में है current Manu?
28.
Current Manu is going on, right? He has 28, 40, 71 yuga cycle. So current Manu का कौन सा युगा cycle चल रहा है?
28.
Huh?
28.
Where it is given?
Bhagavatam.
Which canto?
First canto.
First canto. Right? 20th. Who was born? In connection with whom it was given? So Vyasdev's born. You know, like in the first canto, in the connection with Vyasdev, and when it is mentioned that the 28th yuga cycle this person has come. So that shows that currently it's the 28th. So now sixth yuga cycle has sixth Manu has already passed. The last Manu was Chakshusha Manu. The first Manu was Swayambhuva Manu. Right? Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks about Swayambhu Manu and son Uttanapat, Priyavrat, their son, and like that, each Manu and their descendants, all this is given. Right? Then Chakshusha Manu, made that avatar. Which avatar came in Chakshusha Manu? That fish avatar, Matsya avatar came. Right? Because generally what happens when day of Brahma is over, then Pralay happens. Right? Pralay happens. All the three planetary system goes down. But sometimes Brahma ji gets jhabki. So Pralay ho jata hai. Or in the middle also sometimes Pralay happens, for whatever reason. So what happens generally? Pralay happens after all day of Brahma. But then sometimes in the middle, Pralay happens. So during the time of Chakshusha Manu ruling, Pralay happened. And then Lord took the form of the fish avatar and saved whom? Chakshusha Manu. At that time, during Chakshusha Manu, there was a king Satyavrat Muni. He saved him. He said that I will come in the form of fish, and then you board this boat will come. You hold that boat with the Vasuki, and then I'll save you like that. Yeah. So then he puts all the things in that, and that's how there is a Leela which is mentioned. That Chakshusha Manu mein jo Satyavrat Muni hai, in the next, after he left, then the next slide he became what? He became a he became a Manu, seventh Manu, Vaivasvat Manu. He became Vaivasvat Manu. Correct? Now somebody may say that ki Lord Matsya Avatar gave knowledge to Satyavrat Muni. So after that he should have gone back to Godhead. Why he became a Manu? Why he has to come back? Somebody may question, na? Right? But then for the devotees of the Lord, whatever is the Lord's desire, whatever situation they want to place, that's a divya situation. It's a transcendental position. So even though he's playing a role of a Manu, it's transcendentally situated. And in that, he's getting the knowledge in a parampara again. You see, he's already transcendental. Back he got a knowledge from Matsya Avatar. But still now also he's getting a knowledge. He's continuing serving. Isn't it? So, Vaivasvat Manu. Now this Vaivasvat Manu is actually a son of Vivasman, son god Vivasman. So, this Vivasman, he is the, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 6th chapter, 40 and 41st verse, Shukdev Goswami says that Vivasvan, that is sun god, his wife name is Sangnya. Okay? And from that, gave birth to the Shraddha Manu. The Shraddha Manu is nothing but that 7th Manu, which is now Vaivasvat. Because in that shloka, it is mentioned that he gave birth to Shraddha Manu, he gave birth to Yamaraj, he gave birth to Yamuna also. The sun god's daughter is Yamuna, Yamaraj is his brother, and Shraddha is mentioned. So the Shraddha is nothing but Vaivasvat Manu, 7th Manu. Now, this Sangnya also, so from the Sangnya, who is the wife of Vivasvan, sun god Vivasvan, this Sangnya took the form of a horse, and from them Ashwini Kumars were born. And then this Vivasvan had another wife also. Like Sangnya is one wife, similarly Chaya was another wife. And from Chaya gave birth to Saneshchar. And then Manu, Savarni Manu came from that. Two people came from that Chaya wife. One is Saneshchar and another is Savarni Manu. That Savarni Manu will be the 8th Manu. Will be the 8th Manu. They are all whose son? Vivasvan. So, 2 sons of Vivasvan. One from Sangnya and one from Chaya. So, one who is from Sangnya, Shadadev. Then daughter is, whose another sister is again Yamuna, and then Yamraj. So this person is becoming Manu in 7th. And then another Chaya, means from Chaya comes another Manu, who will become 8th Manu. So like this you see. Now, Vivasvan himself, or the sun god Vivasvan. So he is born from whom? So the first, we all know that from the Brahmaji was born from which Vishnu? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, when Brahmaji was born, then Brahmaji gave birth to Marichi and other people. So Marichi was born, and then Marichi's son was Kashyap. And then Kashyap, who married to the Aditi, or who is married to Aditi, who is Daksha's daughter, gave the birth to Vivasvan. Okay? Gave birth to Vivasvan. That is Suryadev. And then Suryadev married to Sangnya and Chaya and all others. And from them come the Shraddha. And the Shraddha, he was very sense controlled. So he was a great person. And he, from his wife, gave birth to Ishwaku, to Nriga, to Sharyati, Dista, Dusta, Kurusha, Naishta, Prushadha, Nabhag, and Kavi. 10 sons. Who was the first? Ishwaku. So Ishwaku is the son of whom? Manu. Which Manu? Vaivasvat Manu. Who is the son of sun god Vivasva? Right? And he was born from Kashyapa. And in that way, it's a param. Now Krishna is telling, Imam Vivasvate Yogam, Proktavahanam Avyavyam, that I gave this knowledge to whom? Sun God. And then in the next verse he's telling, please repeat after me. Evam parampara praptam imam raj rishayo viduhu
अजर्षयो विदुः
sakaleha mahata
कालेनेह महता
parantapa.
योगे नष्टः परन्तप
Evam parampara praptam. In that parampara, this knowledge has come. Parampara. Para, param, that is parampara. 3 words. Para, parama, and para. Param, what is the meaning of param? Like Gujarati mein param, param divse kahi na? Param divse. Param divse aapne kahi na? Day before. Day before. Right? So param is shrest also. Shrest, which comes later on. So the day which comes later to next day. Param divse. Kale nahi param divse, not tomorrow but day after. Means that which comes later. Shrestha. That is param. Param, para. So param, that means which comes later. Later to what? Param, para. Para means what? Other. Give it to others. Para vyakti se baat kar rahe ho. Para means another. So other. Not today, other day. So tomorrow. And param means day after tomorrow. In Gujarati, param divse they say, no? So parampara means what? Param means next. Para means another. So giving knowledge to one and then he gives to another. Parampara, a is added. So there is a pratyay in Sanskrit which a means in the sanidhya, in front of, close to. A means sitting close to, in front of. Right? So parampara means what? One person, one gives, sits and gets knowledge from one person, and that person in turn gets knowledge from another person. That is parampara. Isn't it? Parampara. Right? Para, param, and a. A is a pratyay which is added to show that taking knowledge from somebody. Sanidhya mein. So that is parampara. So evam, in this way, parampara praptam. In this way means what way? Sun God. Krishna gave to Sun God. Sun God gave to Vaivasvat Manu. Vaivasvat Manu gave to Ishwa. In this way, parampara. Right? Now, is this the parampara that we have heard? We have a diorama here. What is our parampara? Krishna gave to whom? Brahma. And Brahma gave to his son, and in that way it is coming. No? So now why is Krishna telling this is the parampara? Question comes, no? भाई परंपरा तो पहले ब्रह्मा जी को दिया, ब्रह्मा जी ने फिर अपने पुत्र को दिया, एंड देन दैट केम. तो कृष्णा बोल रहे नहीं, पहले मैंने किसको दिया? एंड देयर इज, अब उसमें और कंफ्यूज करना है तो फोर, पहले कृष्ण ने लक्ष्मी देवी को दिया, रुद्र को दिया, और यहाँ कृष्ण बोल रहे पहले किसको दिया? और इस प्रकार से परंपरा चली आ रही है. तो सही क्या है? ये है या वो है? चारों सही है, वो चार सही है, ये भी सही है. तो हाउ विल यू एक्सप्लेन? हाँ, बट ही स्पोक फर्स्ट टू ब्रह्मा जी ना. ब्रह्मा जी से फिर वो कश्यप, ये दक्ष, कश्यप और वो सब आए ना. तो फिर ऐसा बोलो ना. No, whenever time comes, but he gave in this way ना. परंपरा में तो ये आता है ना. तो ये इसको ब्रह्मा जी को क्यों हटा दिया? विवस्वान तो बाद में आया ना, ब्रह्मा जी पहले आया ना. तो वो क्यों हट गए अभी जब कृष्ण बोल रहे? तो And I'm just telling you, then the question may come. You know? Brahmaji, then Daksha Prajapati, and all this should come, na? But it is not mentioned. So therefore, evam parampara pratam idam rajarishayo vidu. What is the word? Rajarishaya. Means the kings understood in this parampara. Rajarishis means the kings who were also great knowledgeable people, rishis. They understood in this way. So now, somebody may say, तो क्या ब्रह्मा जी king नहीं थे क्या? Was Brahma ji a king? Now what does the Kshatriya mean? Kshatriya. King means Kshatriya. Right? Because this knowledge is spread, or this, see, great leaders. Krishna gave the knowledge to great leaders so that common people will follow. Right? So Rajas would have that knowledge. Right? So now the first personality is Brahmaji. And have you ever heard of Brahmaji killing any demon? Kshatriya means they're killing, they're like chivalrous, and even though मधु का तब आए थे तो वो अपने आसन में छुप गए कमल के. You see, and he remembered Lord, he begged to Lord, and then Lord had to come and kill. So Brahmaji kind of is a Brahmana. Daksha Prajapati is also kind of is also a Brahmana. Right? They were never Kshatriyas. Not mentioned anywhere they were Kshatriyas. But when from the Daksha Prajapati and then Niti and then Kashyap and then comes the Vaivasvat Manu, sun god, Raja, that in Brahma Samhita, it is, I think, Prabhupada.
Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, please.
Brahmaji is said to be in a mode of passion, right, for the creation work. Then
Yeah.
how Brahmana?
Yeah. It means he is the incarnation of the mode of passion, right? But then you need the kind of passion that you need for creation does not, but also you need the sattva guna also. The passion is there, but then he is he's a Brahmana by nature. He's a Brahmana by nature. And then passion is needed for creation, but then only in this world there's a guna, there's a combination of all. But when we say that for creation, you need passion, right? Also you need, for maintenance, you need mode of sattva guna, right? So Brahmaji, indeed, so it is like for identification we say that. But he is a Brahmana by nature.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he's not a Kshatriya. Otherwise, you see, he would have, there would be a mention of killing the demons and all, which is never mentioned in any place. But when it comes to yes, Prabhu, sun god.
Hiranyaksha was killed by Vara avatar, and that Hiranyaksha was killed by Vara avatar. Vara avatar came from the nose of the Brahma. That means that Brahma, indirectly Brahma has only killed Hiranyaksha.
It is like saying that Devaki killed the Kamsa because Krishna came from Devaki. See, that is like, even without knowing Brahmaji, this has come. The avatar has taken shelter in Brahmaji's nostril. Through that, that has come. So Brahmaji nowhere is involved in this. He's just like has become an instrument for that, right? So Krishna chose to take avatar from the nostrils. Varadev came in that way. But Brahmaji, Kshatriya means, who is chivalrous, who likes fighting and all these things. So Brahmaji is not in that such. One who likes fighting, you see, one who gives protection, all these things. So, but when you talk about sun god, so Brahmaji says, Yat chakshur esha savita sakala granahanam raja samasta suramurti ashesha tejaha yasya agnyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So yat chakshur esha savita sakala grana raja samasta. So he's like a king, and he is having all the power, and he is the controller of all the planets. He is the king. You see, the Raja, the sun god. He's on the wheel, and that one wheel का एक पहिया जो है कहाँ पे है? मानस सरोवर पर्वत पे, और दूसरा is on the middle, that gold का. And that way he covers around 84 lakhs yojana in 48 minutes, one muhurat. So in 1 second, he covers, the speed of his chariot is how much? In 1 second, he covers around 15,000 kilometers. 14,000 something. Around 15,000 kilometers he covers. So fast in 1 second. So such is the speed. And he's a Kshatriya. He's like a ruler of all planets. Because all planets are taking warmth from whom? From sun god. So he's a Kshatriya. And then Vivaswan. So the Manu, Vaivasvat Manu, the Vaivasvat Manu, is also a Kshatriya. Because when in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned that when Swayambhu Manu approached for giving his daughter, then that saint said that, Arey, you people travel to different places to understand how the locals, how the people are doing. Because that's your dharma as a ruler. So that shows that Swayambhu Manu, he was glorifying Swayambhu Manu. But in what quality? As a king whose duty is to see that everything is going well. So that's Manu ka quality. So Vaivasvat Manu is being a Manu, is also a king. And the Manushya name came from whom? From Manu. This Manushya came from the name of Manu. So who was the first mankind? So Krishna says, Evam parampara pratam evam raj rishoyo vidu. So in this Manav, in this Manushya Loka, it came from Manu. And who is the first Manu? Swayambhu Manu. But here, in this time, during this Manvantara, who is the Manu? Vaivasvat Manu. He is the first Manushya in this Manvantara. Krishna is talking about this Manvantara. He is the first Manu. He gave him, he is the first receiver. That means he is the first Kshatriya who received. Because Krishna has to give Arjuna the example of a Kshatriya. Because he is a Kshatriya, he could relate to the Kshatriya. So he is saying that you are the first, I mean, even the first Manu, who is the ruler. And before that, sun god, who is not even a Manushya, because he is like the father of the mankind. He is like, because from Vaivasvat Manu is coming from the sun god Vivaswan. Right? So he's telling that, see, I gave this knowledge to him first, just to appreciate upon him that this knowledge is how great. I first gave it to the sun god gave to his son, who is the first Manushya, Vaivasvat Manu, and then that Manu gave it to Ishwaku, who is again the king. And in that way, evam parampara praptam idam rajarishayo vidu. These rajarishis, they understood in that way. But then what happened? Sa kale neha mata. At the great time, in due course of time, yoga nasta parantapa. This knowledge has destroyed. So that knowledge which Krishna gave to Brahmaji and all, that knowledge is going on. But the Kshatriya knowledge has been destroyed. Other knowledge is still going on. The char, all is going on. This knowledge of Raj Rishi has been Sa eva mayate adya. And then I have come to give you this knowledge. He says in the verse 3, repeat after me. Sa eva mayate adya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yetaduttamam. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood in that way. But in due course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Yeah, it appears to be lost. It can never be lost. It just appears to be lost. Right? Like sun is always there. This knowledge is always there. Can somebody destroy this knowledge? Anybody has got a power to destroy the sunlight? It may be covered by this cloud. Right? So it appears to be lost. And that Saiva Mayatyadya, that same knowledge I have come to give now in disciplic succession. Prabhupada, when he talks about this parampara in his lecture, he says that receiving this knowledge of Krishna, of this Bhagavad Gita, one has to understand it in a parampara. That means from the devotee of a Lord. One has to understand it from the devotee of a Lord. And it is not the scholarly presentation that is needed for giving this knowledge. Like somebody who may be expert in reading Bhagavad Gita, identifying and analyzing and then speaking. That is not the qualification of the Vakta. That person has to be the devotee of the Lord. Devotee of the Lord is worshipping the Lord, non-envious of Krishna, accepting Krishna as the Supreme Lord, taking shelter of Krishna. In that way, in that parampara only one can understand. So the scholarly presentation is not the criteria for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Prabhupada in the introduction only he mentions, if you read introduction, he says that why he wrote this Bhagavad Gita. Somebody told him that why you have written. There are 500 books of Bhagavad Gita. Why he has to write? Again, what is the need? Because there was no single Bhagavad Gita wherein it is as it is mentioned. What Krishna has spoken, the same thing as it is without any deviation. Sa aiva mayate adya. Huh? See the first verse. Imam vivasvate yogam proktaham avyayam. Avyayam is without breaking anything. Eternal, as it is, the subject which is intact. That same subject in a parampara comes. So Prabhupada said that there is no single Bhagavad Gita out of this 500 Bhagavad Gita. I found that it is carrying the message which Krishna spoke initially. To give that, Prabhupada has written the Bhagavad Gita. So that's how important it is. It's parampara. So now in these 3 verses, he talks about the parampara, glorifies this knowledge by invoking the great personalities like Sun God and all. Though it's not needed because Krishna's word itself is so powerful. But still, people would appreciate when the great persons' names are mentioned. People write books also, they write the, endorsement, they take it from some celebrity or some great person. So Krishna is like using that. And he tells the power of this. And then he's telling, Arjuna is having question now. You told it to me. Earlier you told it to Sun God. So you told to Sun God, you're telling me. But Sun God is like, when he was born and you are like my contemporary friend. How do I understand you gave this knowledge to him? Now does Arjuna does not know that Krishna is Supreme Lord, that is asking such question. Like in Bhagavatam also 3rd canto, Vidura is asking when to the Sukdev Goswami or this personalities like Vidura, they are asking it to Maitreya Muni, So when they are asking this question, do they don't know that what is this 3 kinds of miseries in this world? They know this, but they still ask. Like even in the classroom, at the end, nobody is asking question. So some seasoned devotee, they ask some simple question. Are they not aware of the answer? They are aware, but what happens? They ask so that other people can get to know the more from the speaker. Right? So similarly, Arjuna is here asking a doubt. Please repeat. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma
अपरं भवतो
param
जन्म
janma vivasvatah
परं जन्म
patam
विवस्वतः
etar vijanyam
कथम्
tvam
एतद्विजानीयाम्
ado proktavaniti.
तम् आदौ प्रोक्तवानिति.
Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? He's asking this simple question. Now with this, Krishna's eternal nature, eternal pastime is glorified. So from next verse, Krishna is telling about his eternal nature. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni me vyatitani
बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि
Janmani tava charjuna
जन्मानि तव चार्जुन
Sarvani
तानि अहं वेत्त
Natvam
सर्वाणि
Vita Parantapa.
न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप.
The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O subduer of enemy. So the Lord, he has, and Arjuna, they had many births. Even we also had many births. But the Lord remembers. We remember what happened in our childhood. Something. Why? Because we are staying in this body as a soul. We remember something. Who is staying with us? Paramatma. And he knows each and every moment of our body. Means what happened in the past. He knows each and everything. He's there in each and everybody, everyone's body. And he's present all the time. So Boni me vyatitani janmani tochamajar. We had many births. Taniyam veda sarvani. I know all this thing. How? Because this is Paramatma. Natam vetta parantapa. You do not know. Ajo api san avyayatma. Bhutanam ishvaro api san.
भूतानामेषुरूपि सन्
Prakritim swamadhisthaya.
प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय
Sambhavami samayaya.
सम्भावामि च
Although I am
मायया
unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya, by my own original form, which is not material, it's spiritual. Lord's form is spiritual. So he's telling Sambhavami Atma Mayama. I appear along in my original form, like in my own transcendental form. Ajo apisan, even though I am unborn. Bhutanam Ishwara apisan, even if I am the I am the Lord of all living beings, I still appear in every millennium. Prakritim swam adhisthaya, in my own prakritim, swam. And when it comes to Krishna, Swam Krishna comes. So purport is there, please read. We'll discuss more next time. It's 5:10, exact 2 hours. Started a little late. So we'll stop here. Any questions up till now?
Prabhuji, that parampara, I'm still not clear. You said Vayavaka, that part is still not clear.
Okay, in parampara is like disciplic succession. Disciplic succession, one after another. We hear one after another. Like Prabhupada always quoted, if you see Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, dedicated to whom? To Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhashya commentary on the Vedanta philosophy. He is dedicating to Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. That means he has read the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He has heard from his guru and is presenting that talk. Right? So, in a parampara, in a disciplic succession, this knowledge is to be taken. Where there is no breakage, it's avyayam, eternal. So, one thing is eternal, it's always there. Another thing is, it's not broken. Just like an example is given by the acharyas, the postman gives whatever has come, he just passes on. Nothing he adds, nothing he removes. As it is, he passes on. So similarly, from a person we hear it from some person. That person should have heard it from some person. It's not like I said, okay, let me take the knowledge directly from Baldev Vidyabhushan. How do I understand what Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote? Read somebody the commentary. Now you see, I have this book, Baldev Vidyabhushan. If I hand over this book to any newcomer, he will not be able to understand. Book is there. Even though he's very intelligent, he will not understand by reading. Unless some devotee of the Lord, that touch is not there. Like see, we got touch from Prabhupada. Somebody said that I read Prabhupada's book directly and then came to Bhakti. Right? But after coming to Bhakti, he has to take initiation. He has to gain training under somebody, get services from somebody. It's not like Prabhupada would come in his dream and say, oh, you read my book, okay, I'll now tell you, give you the knowledge what is to be done, what is not to be done. Which Prabhupada can do, but generally does not, right? So that person has to take shelter into some living personality, say Guru. So that is parampara. Para, param, para, a. That a itself, that avyay which is added in the Sanskrit to this para and param. Para means another person. Param means greater than that. Greater than is one who is another next to that person. In that way, in front or in Why? Because I think 35th or 36th verse, next chapter, 5th chapter, 36th verse. It says that Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina
4.34.
tattvadarshana. So this verse says that one has to take this knowledge from the Supreme Lord Himself. No, from from devotee of the Lord. Yeah, which is this 34th verse of this 4th chapter. It says that Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti de jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. Try to understand this knowledge. Tad vidhi pranipatena. Patena means falling down. Yeah, falling down at the peace, taking humble position. Pranipatena pariprashnena, by asking, by inquiring. Sevaya, and by service. Now, if there is no person only in a disciplic succession, then whom will that person hear from? Somebody said that online we can hear, no? Like nowadays it's trained, online kar lete hai. But they do not understand the importance of physically offline hearing. Because in the offline you can ask question, you can have that humble mode, that service attitude, all that is it. More focus, yes. So just hearing online, there are many classes. How many people they become devotees by hearing online? You may quote some became devotee by online, but then they have to connect to some devotees. They can't for lifelong just hear and then practice. How to practice? They need, na? Yadyad acharati seshta. You see, all these Gita verses come. Yadyad acharati seshta. We are all following what Prabhupada gave us. Prabhuji's, Mataji's, we call by that name. Why Prabhupada gave us? Offering, how to offer, we all Prabhupada gave us. So we are following. And what Prabhupada gave us, how do we know? From our gurus. Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. So we need a person. So that's how parampara. His knowledge comes in a parampara, in a disciplic succession. Living person, right now who is living, you cannot directly take it from, jump over anybody, because whom will you serve? Whom will be like, serve, it's coming, whom will ask? One has to be live. Is that clear? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. So as we end by 5:15, right? So then, do somebody needs prasad, dinner at this time? Does anybody need prasad?
Sometimes yes.
Sometime and sometime no. Because then we need to tell to the kitchen, Because if we tell them, they will cook. And if we don't eat, then it will go waste. Are you getting? So if somebody needs prasad, then we need to inform them in advance. Because see, evening Sunday feast, we have started now. 5 to 7. So how many will come? They need to, that's why the coupon is given. So 5:15 to 5:45, they serve the coupon. And that much only they will cook, na? Otherwise, if they cook more, then who will distribute? You find so many people to it, but who will take that responsibility and distribute and all? Is it? And it goes waste also. So how much they need to? So they need to have the count. So if somebody needs, please tell in advance so that we can make arrangement. Provided it is cooked, because earlier it was like 5 o'clock prasadam would be cooked. There was no concept of 7:30 for everyone. But now for Sunday feast, 7:30 they are cooking. So we need to check by 5 o'clock is it there or not. 5:50. Only then we can provide. But because somebody asked, that can we have prasadam? So yeah, we'll check with the kitchen, but we need to need the count, how many people would take. How often? Regularly. If not regularly, then it's difficult, We can't tell them that sometimes we need, sometimes we not. In that way. That's my only concern. So if it regularly fine, then we can arrange. We'll check with them, kitchen team. We can give the count. 1 or 2 devotees are there. So apart from this,
Can we inform in this coming week, Prabhuji? Can we inform this week? Because I generally come. I won't mind having prasad.
Huh? Yeah, if somebody is coming live, they can inform in advance. Then we can know, because we have to tell them in advance that okay, these devotees,
Yes,
This many devotees, they need prasad. And what is the, means they are cooking or not? How many are? Because if we inform them and they are cooking already for certain number, for one or two they will not cook, but if they are cooking it for particular number and they are doing it well in advance, like for now say whoever are coming in the temple hall for Sunday feast, 7:30 is the prasadam timing. So are they getting it ready by 5 o'clock? Then we can have. Otherwise, just for one or two people, if they can't make it for whole batch. So we'll need to check. We are not sure if we temple would be able to provide. But if you have a count, we can tell them, because they will ask us, kitne log chahiye tumhare? Therefore I'm just taking like how many of you are interested? I get the number. So now speaking, I think one or two people are there, right? So
Yes,
we'll
Prabhuji.
find out. Yeah, we'll find out. And somebody who needs can message me personally also. Then I'll find out. I'll also check what's the status. We'll let you know.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh? Yeah, one day before it's. Yeah.
Probably the other groups are already taking prasad.
Yeah. That's what I want to find out. Like, what is the.
And I think they don't cook it. They give the food which is prepared
In the afternoon. Yeah.
The same prasad is different.
Yeah.
I'm the one who has raised this query today.
Oh, okay. So what we'll do now, we'll find out.
It's very late. And in the Bhakti Shastri people, they are taking the prasad. We are तो 1 year हो गया हमको अपनी कंपनी पूरा
Yeah.
But sometimes we also feel that there should be.
So we'll do one thing. I'll just check, that.
Now the system will change. I mean, earlier it was not there. The
Evening class, yeah. So now is there still they are keeping? Then we can add. Yeah, and if they are keeping, then we can request them to add.
Saying that it will be a disturbance also because they have to prepare the sadhana for the other batch.
Other batch, yeah. So if there is already one batch for which they are cooking, and means they are keeping actually.
They may be keeping right.
Yeah. Or maybe they are cooking in advance, like if it's ready by 5 and they're giving it to that batch, we can add one. One or two, whoever wants. So possible, I feel, unless they say no. See, we don't know, right? There would be some reason for that. So, but I think that's doable. Let's just find out. Would you inform Mataji? Okay, see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. That's all.